Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. Today we'll be discussing Jeff Hardy being arrested once again. Once again for DUI. So we're going to talk about his newest arrest first, and then I want to do a history of Jeff Hardy. Similar to what I did with Sonny, because it's time for people to really look at what we are doing at one time. Like the whole purpose of the Sonny thing, just like the whole purpose of the Jey Uso video where I compiled all of the arrests, is to look at the people in full context of how long this has been going on. All right. So Jeff Hardy was arrested in Volusia County, Florida. Jesus Christ. Volusia, this is from Post Wrestling. Volusia County jail records show that Hardy was booked into jail at 12:45 a.m. on charges of driving while a license was canceled, suspended, or revoked, violation of restrictions placed on driver's license, and DUI, drugs or alcohol, the third offense within 10 years. Hardy received a surety cash bond of $3,500 to $500 for the license charges and $2,500 for the DUI. He is currently still incarcerated at the St. James Foxman Justice Center in Daytona, Florida. This is absolutely sad. Jeff Hardy, I know I just compared him to Sonny, but he's more like the DMX of pro wrestling. No matter how much respect people have for Jeff, no matter how much love people have for Jeff, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. And no matter what you do, things are always going to fall apart. At this point, we need to stop saying that, Jeff needs to get help, and I hope Jeff gets help. Everybody hopes Jeff gets help, because I have yet to meet somebody who's not a fan of Jeff Hardy. Everybody loves Jeff. Everybody's a fan. The only way to save Jeff Hardy's life at this point is to blackball him from the industry. Now, I was one of those people, and I swear to God, I wish I had been making videos as long as some other guys. But I was saying this when he was in TNA. And we're going to get there eventually, because I'm going to do a timeline that was provided by a wrestling website, and I think it's pretty cool. And I was saying then that maybe it was time to write Jeff off. I don't remember what it was. That it might have been Victory Road. It might have been something after Victory Road. But it was at some point during his tenure in TNA, I was just kind of like, maybe we should just hang it up with Jeff. Maybe we should just say, you know what, we're done with Jeff. Now, since then, he's done some really good stuff. He had this big magical comeback in WWE. Everything was looking good. And now I'm back to maybe we need to stop being marks for Jeff Hardy. Maybe promoters need to stop being marks for Jeff Hardy. Maybe it's time for us to just say, you know what, Jeff, if you want to wrestle, maybe you should wrestle for $200 a night in some podunk place. Otherwise, nobody else will book you. He needs to be fired from AEW. That's what needs to happen. Not suspended. He needs to be fired. He needs to stay out of the wrestling business. Now, the reason I said this is provided in this history that I'm going to talk about here, because it's been a 20-year battle between Jeff and the wrestling business. This is from Wrestlingview. This was posted in 2019. It says, below in chronological order is a list of events throughout Jeff Hardy's professional and personal life that have been direct results of his continued war with substance abuse. This list also includes signings and releases from professional wrestling organizations, as well as noteworthy events within those organizations. By the way, Jeff Hardy has been arrested while under contract for WWE, TNA, and AEW, the three major wrestling promotions of the last 20 years. If he can get arrested in Japan, then he'll just be an international guy. He needs to be blackballed from the industry. All right? And people need to just say enough is enough. Right? I mean, before he kills somebody else, kills himself, hurts somebody, or something like that. Let's go through this history. May 23rd, 1994, Jeff Hardy makes his debut with WWF in Youngstown, Ohio. June 6, 1994, Jeff Hardy makes his Monday Night Raw debut against Razor Ramon. they give a little bit of a backstory here about, you know, the Hardy Boys as jobbers and then being pushed talents. April 22nd, 2003, WWE releases Jeff Hardy. Reasons given for Hardy's 03 release included erratic behavior, drug use, refusals to enter rehabilitation, deteriorating ring performance, as well as constant tardiness and no-showing events. Hardy would downplay these accusations in 2006 WWE.com article saying, quote, "I didn't need rehab. When I was released from WWE, it was just about demons and demonic metaphors that relate to drug use. I failed numerous drug tests because I just didn't care. Didn't care to wrestle anymore. A sense of me believes that it might have just been a way out of wrestling." This was in 2000. This was when he said in 2006 about his firing in 2003. This is almost 20 years old. That Jeff was just trying to get out of the business. And it's the same crap you hear about today. Erratic behavior. Refusal to go to rehab. Now, he hasn't no-showed any events, which is a positive, considering that will become a staple of his TNA run. June 23rd, 2004, Jeff Hardy debuts in TNA Wrestling. Hardy will perform for TNA for the rest of 2004 until his habits of no-showing for live events resurfaced. May 15, 2005, Jeff Hardy no-shows TNA's Hard Justice pay-per-view. 2 days later, May 17th, TNA suspends Jeff Hardy. Hardy had missed numerous flights to Orlando from North Carolina and ended up arriving much later than the pay-per-view concluded. This was the most notable of numerous no-shows for TNA events throughout the course of 2005. August 5th, 2005, Jeff Hardy returns to TNA at Sacrifice. December 11th, Jeff Hardy no-shows for TNA's Turning Point pay-per-view and is immediately suspended. June 1st, 2006, Jeff Hardy's contract with TNA expires. He no-showed 2 pay-per-view events in 2005. Unprofessional. August 4th, WWE re-signs Jeff Hardy. August 21st, Jeff Hardy returns to Monday Night Raw. This would be Jeff Hardy's return to a WWE organization that has implemented its talent wellness program earlier that year. Unfortunately, this would place his addictions under a certain spotlight rather than behind the curtain. This will mean July 30th, 2007, Jeff Hardy's first WWE wellness policy violation, suspended for 30 days. Jeff would attempt to hide this fact on his website, claiming that he needed time to heal from a bad fall taken during a match on Raw. March 11th, 2008, Jeff Hardy's second wellness violation, suspended for 60 days. Hardy lost the Intercontinental title to Chris Jericho the week before his announced suspension. This would also lead to his removal from the Money in the Bank ladder match booked for WrestleMania 24. Not within 1 week of his suspension, tragedy would strike. Jeff Hardy's home was burned down March 14th. Reports from the Moore County, North Carolina Fire Department listed the cause of the blaze as undetermined, and that foul play was not being investigated due to the fact that Hardy told investigators that he did not have insurance on his home. Matt Hardy confirmed that no one was in the home. His house burned down. I forgot about that. September 1st, 2009, Jeff Hardy's contract with WWE expires. This was during his feud with CM Punk. He says Jeff Hardy would lose to CM Punk in a steel cage match for the World Heavyweight Championship, with the added stipulation that the loser would leave WWE. With the storyline put into place, this will allow Hardy to heal from his injuries. These included neck rehabilitation and 2 herniated discs in his lower back, causing him to suffer from restless leg syndrome. September 11th, 2019. This is the big one. Jeff Hardy is arrested for numerous drug charges after a raid on his North Carolina home. These charges included felony possession of cocaine, felony drug trafficking of opium, 2 counts of felony possession with the intent to distribute a Schedule III controlled substance, maintaining a dwelling for drug use and or distribution, and misdemeanor possession of drug paraphernalia. He will be released on a $125,000 bond. The raid on his home yielded 262 Vicodin pills, 180 Soma prescription pills, 555 milliliters of anabolic steroids, a residual amount of cocaine, powdered cocaine, and drug paraphernalia. This is where, on Broken Skull Sessions, Jeff Hardy says that he was scared straight after going to jail. after this, and he thought his life was over. And clearly, this was not the case. January the 4th, 2010, Jeff Hardy re-signs with TNA. He will return on their first ever live episode of Impact on Mondays. July the 5th, Jeff Hardy is indicted on the 2009 arrest. March 13th, 2011, Jeff Hardy performs Under the Influence at TNA's Victory Road. This is where he staggered to the ring against Sting, and they had to roll him up and finish this thing. March 15th, TNA suspends Jeff Hardy. March 23rd, Jeff Hardy returns to TNA asking for forgiveness. September 9th, 2011, Jeff Hardy pleads guilty to his 2009 arrest charges. Hardy would be sentenced to 10 days in jail, 30 months of probation, and fined $100,000. According to the Fayette Observer, Hardy's prison sentence of 20 to 33 months was suspended on the condition that he continued to attend outpatient drug counseling program and comply with those terms during the probationary period. Prosecutors also initially sought to have Hardy serve a 30-day jail sentence. However, the judge reduced it to 10 and for it to be served at a time determined by his probation officer. 2017, March the 1st, Jeff Hardy released from Impact. April 1st, WWE signs Jeff Hardy. April 2nd, Jeff Hardy returns at WrestleMania 33. This was huge. This was big. March 10th, 2018, Jeff Hardy arrested for driving while impaired in Concord, North Carolina. According to the arrest report, Concord police, Hardy ran himself off the road in his 2016 Cadillac, struck 105 feet of guardrail before he spun and stopped in the middle lane of Concord Parkway. This will cause an estimated $8,000 of damage to his car and $5,000 in damage to the guardrail. While in custody of the Cabarrus County Detention Center, Hardy registered a .25 blood alcohol content on a breath test. June 11th, Jeff Hardy pleads guilty to DWI, yielded a 120-day suspended sentence, a $300 fine, and a suspension of his license. July 13th, 2019, Jeff Hardy arrested for public intoxication in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. According to the police report, Hardy was arrested after being found passed out in a public staircase and smelling of alcohol. Hardy paid a $153 ticket for the misdemeanor offense. And we all know that in December of 2020, Jeff Hardy was released from WWE following erratic behavior where he jumped into the crowd during a 6-man tag at a live event. WWE gave him a choice between rehab and release. He chose release. March 2022, Jeff Hardy signs with All Elite Wrestling. June of 2022, Jeff Hardy is arrested in Volusia County for violating restrictions on his driver's license, driving with a suspended license, and DUI, drugs, alcohol, third offense within 10 years. The only way to save Jeff Hardy is to kick Jeff Hardy out of the business. It's the only way. You know, it's the only way. If we continue to let Jeff continue to work, it's going to end very badly. It's going to end very badly. I hate to think, and this is after, you know, so many people took up for Jeff. They took up for him in a major way when he was fired from WWE. Everybody said WWE had made a total and complete mistake, that he had finally gotten over on them. He was being treated like a ghost or some other stuff that they was talking about. But in reality, it was not over. It wasn't over. And this is not the time to say WWE was right. It is the time, however, to say that something needs to be done about Jeff Hardy before somebody gets hurt in a serious, serious way. You got 20 years of erratic behavior, no shows, refusal to go to rehab, in and out of jail. Enough is enough. He has accepted accountability, and that's a positive thing. But until his behavior actually is literally changing, there's just no way. There's just no way you can continue to let him do this. Now, if Jeff Hardy was retired, let's say, I would be a lot more lenient. But Jeff Hardy is not retired. Jeff Hardy was scheduled to wrestle in a ladder match the same week, a couple of days before he was arrested, which is a mistake to book him for a ladder match. So clearly, something needs to change. Something has got to change before Jeff Hardy kills himself or someone else. And I feel really bad for him. And I've never suggested that somebody get blackballed from the industry outside of being shortly for being a pedophile or something like that. But I think this is the only way to save Jeff Hardy's career. It's the only way to save his life. Is to say, Jeff, no more. We're not letting you wrestle anymore, man. It's over. We're going to have to pull the plug on you, even not because of injury, which is, sometimes what people do. Sometimes they just say, hey, look, we can't, you'll never be medically cleared again. It's over. We need to do that, at least in terms of maybe extend that to addiction. That you just have so many problems with drugs and alcohol, you just cannot be trusted. You can't be trusted. Think about the fans who bought a ticket to the AEW show thinking they were going to see Jeff Hardy. And now Jeff Hardy went and got himself arrested. It's not fair. How many times are you going to put people through this heartbreak before you say enough is enough? Enough is enough. Everybody loves Jeff Hardy. This is not malicious. This is probably the best way to at least minimize his injuries and send him off in a way that is in some way respectful by saying, Jeff, we will not sign you to any more contracts. We're done. Okay? If you want to work small, you want to go to GCW and do that kind of shit, go ahead. I'm pretty sure they would love to have a Jeff Hardy on the roster. But the major wrestling promotions need to pay more attention and show that a lot, especially be good role models. I hate to put it that way, but there's no other way to put it. If you keep letting Jeff get away with this shit, what's going to happen when the younger talent starts to see this? It was the same situation with Randy Orton, where he eventually smartened up. But Jeff, it hasn't. We've given him chance after chance. This is more than double chances and triple chances, quadruple chances. Enough's enough. It's been going on for 20 years. Enough. He clearly just does not care about the wrestling business. He clearly does not care about himself. He needs to step away. And yes, I wish him the best. I hope DDP steps in and DDP yogas whatever the hell this addiction problem is. He's able to get over it. But I don't have no desire to see Jeff Hardy wrestle again. I have zero desire to see that. After this, I have no desire to see Jeff Hardy wrestle ever again.